Hello, hello, my fellow sensitive people. It is Whimsy, and I am between customers. I've been doing readings all day today, and I'm having a lot of fun. But I just wanted to quickly tell people what is going on and to gloat a little bit. I got it right. I got it right. So we're going to talk about everything I got right. And we're also going to talk about stuff that's going to be coming up in the coming weeks. I don't think I'm going to have time to do a tarot throw today, but I am going to talk a little bit about what I got right. So the first thing I got right is that I had said that Rod Rosenstein would probably not leave, but he would still be around. So we found out today that Rod Rosenstein is not leaving after all, that he's going to be sticking around. So what does that feel like when I get into the energy? It feels like, if you watched the video that I did yesterday, like Barr walked into, look, it's like a frog in water that slowly heats, and you've gotten so used to the craziness that the frog is boiling and doesn't know it. That is the scene that Barr walked into. Everybody was in a crazy place, but it had gotten so crazy over a 2-year period. So when you walk into the crazy and you see the crazy, it can be quite startling until you yourself adapt to the craziness. So that's what happened. Barr went in. And he started to see things that were extremely disturbing. He also met with senators who privately made some statements. I think there have been some formal documentation that's been made by people in the Senate, both Republican and Democrat, documenting certain interactions with the president where they question his ability to govern and his mental health. So if anything legally were to be done, it's all been documented. People asked me about Mitch McConnell, and when I had said that Mitch McConnell was going to eventually have to cut the head off the beast. He is from the state of Kentucky, and he now has I think his popularity is 35%. He's not well liked in his state. And so he can't go against the president because the president is very well liked in Kentucky. He can't go against the base. So he has to be very judicious in how he deals with this president whose mental health he questions. He has to publicly come out in support of some of the policies while simultaneously doing what he has to do in order to protect himself from the president whose mental health he questions. Okay, so that's what's going on there. And so I think what happened with Barr is that Barr started also documenting some stuff, and at that point you need reinforcements. So no, Rosenstein, you don't get to go running out the door just yet because I just had a lunch with the president and he threatened me too. So we need to have you stick around. It's one of those sorts of things. It feels like that kind of an energy. The other thing I got right, woohoo! If you go back and look at some previous videos, is the meditation I did on Cohen's offices. I think it was less than 4 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes long, where I did a remote viewing, and then I just wanted to record right afterwards so that it was fresh in my mind, and also so that people could see what it looks like when I do a meditation. And I had said that a couple things. Number one, that Donald Trump was hiding documents at the Cohen's offices in order to avoid a raid because they were frightened that the Trump organization was going to be raided. So what do you do when you think you're going to be raided by the feds? You hire everything at your lawyer's offices hoping that it'll be safe there, and then your lawyer gets raided. Now the documents are coming out, and we're starting to see what some of those documents are. And yes, some of the documents are communication with the Trump organization and documents from the Trump organization. And some of it, I think, is going to get returned to the Trump organization, if I'm not mistaken. The other thing that I saw was that Cohen was a go-between between the Russian oligarchs and Trump, so that he himself could not be implicated. And then that came out today, that $500,000 from a Russian oligarch, that company was associated with Cohen and possibly some of the financing for Trump to pay off women, etc. So the other thing that came up that I think is going to be coming up in examining these documents out of Cohen's offices is is the relationship that Cohen and Trump had to blackmailing people, including members of the press. I think that this will come out, and the relationship between Michael Cohen, the National Enquirer, and Donald Trump, and possibly blackmailing people. I had documented blackmailing actually a while ago, about, I think it was close to a year ago, when I first started feeling like there was some blackmailing documents that would come out. Now, that's one of the other things that's going to start coming out more regarding these Cohen documents, is the actual blackmailing that took place. The last thing I would say is that it's very likely that Michael Cohen will have to go into some type of protective custody, rather than, he can't go into the general population with the feds, and he's continuing to cooperate with SDNY. And so for that reason, it looks like he may get out of some of his federal time and instead go into protective custody and in cooperation with SDNY. It looks like something like that, a similar kind of agreement that they've made with other people who have worked for the mob and turned. There could be a deal like that between Michael Cohen and offering protection to him and his family in cooperation with working with SDNY. That is what it looks like. I think that's everything I have for you today. I hope everybody enjoyed watching this. It's always fun. We always document. We always record everything. We make a video of it, so we have a video recording. And then we also make hard copies, which we also date and file, and then we're able to become better at doing these types of meditations. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. There's one other thing I've been wanting to talk about. I've been holding off about it because I really don't know where it goes into this channel, and why I'm receiving this information. But we're going to be, I know that I believe Barack Obama is writing a book. I know that Michelle Obama wrote a book. I believe Barack Obama is writing a book as well. It's been interesting. I've been doing some meditations where I've been picking up stuff about Michelle Obama and Barack Obama, where they're going to be speaking very openly about their problems in their marriage that they had. I know everybody loves them. They're such a great couple, but yes, they did have problems in their marriage. So they're going to start opening up more about this, particularly after I think Obama comes out with his book. So do you want to get like an advance? I can give you the advance about what happened. So and I'm hearing this in my imagination or in my mind or my meditation, call it what you will, as if I'm having a conversation with Michelle Obama. Now that doesn't mean I really did have a conversation with Michelle Obama, but that's how it appears as I do the meditation. And what she said when I got to have my meditation with Michelle Obama is she said that Barack Obama suffers from post-traumatic presidency disorder. I think I got that right. Post-traumatic presidency disorder, PTPD. And what happened was, and what happens to a lot of couples, and there aren't a lot of people you can talk to about this, is that the president has to keep things very private. He can't talk to his spouse. He can't talk to anybody but people in the intelligence agencies, in the military, etc., about certain things that are going on, whether it's a bombing in Libya or drones strikes in Yemen or the Osama bin Laden assassination. There were a lot of things that Barack Obama went through during his presidency, and decisions he made which he now regrets or which he feels were the greatest mistakes of his life. So it's something that happens to sitting presidents, PTPD, where all of a sudden you have all this time on your hands to sit back and think about the decisions you made when you were under stress. Maybe you weren't sleeping and you were trusting the people around you, and you got convinced to make decisions that you may, in hindsight, regret, whether it's any of the things that I just mentioned. And the fact that those decisions led to the deaths of other people. And that in turn has caused how Barack Obama has responded over time to that has been he becomes very quiet. His way of dealing with trauma or things being extremely disturbing is he becomes very, very, very quiet and very, very withdrawn. And that's what happened in his marriage. He became slowly more and more and more withdrawn in his marriage as he became more and more private, and there were more and more things he could not discuss with his partner. The other thing that started to happen is that he started to experience severe insomnia, trouble sleeping at night. And he would toss and turn, and he couldn't fall asleep at night, and he would be agitated, and he would have major meetings the following day, and there would be serious decisions that would have to be made. And even the most emotionally Zen person in the world would find it extremely stressful job to be the president of the United States. And so he wasn't sleeping. He also went through long periods when he wasn't able to sleep, and he didn't want to take medication for it. He really fought against having to take any kind of a sleep aid or something like that. So that is PTPD, post-traumatic presidency disorder. And so from PTPD, Michelle Obama started to reach out and start talking, and I believe she was the one that initiated the conversation with George Bush Jr. Because of the toll that had been taken on her marriage and the toll it was taking on her husband and her family. And so what happened was that they developed a relationship with George Bush Jr. because even though they were on separate sides of the political aisle, George Bush Jr. had gone through a lot of the same thing himself, questioning his decisions, the war in Iraq, Afghanistan, calling parents of soldiers who'd been killed is extremely difficult, not just for the victims and family, but also for the president that has to make that call. And so how George Bush Jr. coped with all of that was that he became an artist. He started painting, dogs and things like that, and he also began to become involved with the wounded veteran organizations because to alleviate his own guilt about what he felt he had done. So he went into therapy. The other thing that is going to come out, I guess I have permission to say it, is it appears that at one point in the presidency of George Bush Jr., when he was going through a rough time emotionally, it looks like it was either at the end of his first term or the beginning of his second term, he may have gone back to alcohol. He may have had a slip up or started to use alcohol again. And so he had to go back into therapy. And from that, it was the stress of everything. is what triggered him to start drinking again, and or to think about drinking again. It feels like he went back to drinking again. And so that is why he got into the therapy, and that was why he got into the Wounded Warriors, the volunteer work, and also he's been, I believe, exhibiting his art and selling his art to raise funds for Wounded Warriors. So that's that explains the relationship between George Bush Jr. and Barack Obama, is that they both share this PTPD. See, y'all are learning all kinds of things. And from that post-traumatic presidency disorder, they have shared a rare bond that few people share, and they've been able, despite their differences, to confide in one another about those challenges, and it has also allowed their families to become quite close. All right, that's all. It'll come out in the books. There'll be books. They're going to start coming out. I always ask permission, so I was given permission to say that. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. It was fun giving my remote viewing today, and who knows what tomorrow will bring, but I hope to speak to everybody again soon. Take care. All right, bye.